Welcome back to another episode of the Moments of Joy podcast, MVPs. We are in for a special treat today. We have with us Denisha Braxton, and she is the mother of a drop dead gorgeous superstar who is taking over the internet right now and just going viral. Jada Boo is her nickname. Jada is her name. But welcome to the show, Mom.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
Going everywhere.
Yes. Yes, she is. I said, I have to have you on before you got too famous that you no longer did podcast interviews. Because that's what happens online.
Well, that's what
so I think like everyone, we have fallen in love with your daughter for many reasons, but number one, her personality, right? She's absolutely beautiful, but her personality is everything.
one of a kind. There's never a
moment. And she dances and she's just so beautiful. I don't want to say it's the beauty, but
Yeah. She's been dancing since she's been in the womb. Like I would turn on Sean Paul, the reggae artist, and she would actually like kick to the beat.
Yeah, that is so funny. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself. I introduced you, but you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners.
I don't know who I am outside of being Jada, and my son is James, but we call him Chip. So I don't know who I am outside of James and Jada's mom. I don't know. So I work full time. I'm in school full time. I actually graduate in January. I'm the executive director of our nonprofit, which is called Autism Beauty. And I am now the social content media manager, creator for all things Jada Boo.
Yes.
And, this is busy. She has me busy.
Well, that's a good thing. You're getting ready to be the momager. So Jada's been diagnosed with autism, correct?
Right, at the age of 7. She got her
at the age of 7. Yeah. Can you take us back to that moment? I always like to start there. What was going on? What did you see, or did you see it? Did someone else point it out? Take us back to that moment.
Okay, so back to that moment. It was kindergarten, so she was in kindergarten that year. But the summer before kindergarten, she had what now I know is a developmental regression. Like she couldn't count to 10. She couldn't say her ABCs. She couldn't even spell her name, which is so easy, Jada. And she knew all of that. Then all of a sudden, she's lost it all. And so, I talked to her pediatrician about it, and they didn't think nothing of it. But then when she hit kindergarten, her teacher noticed that she couldn't retain things sometimes over a weekend. She wasn't able to retain something that she learned that Friday. So the teacher, had a meeting with me and asked if they could do some testing in school. So they did. And then I also went back to her pediatrician, like, look, I really think something's going on. And so then the pediatrician sent us to a specialist. And after about a year, we finally got that diagnosis.
Wow, a year.
Yeah. And all that and just gave you a piece of paper.
I wonder if you don't mind sharing, where did you live during that time?
We lived in Northern Virginia. So we lived in a place called Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is like 30 minutes outside of DC. But now we live in Alabama. So up there, you have all these specialists that's like an hour drive away. But it still took time to get that diagnosis.
It's so funny to me. I just interviewed Kaylin from Love on the Spectrum, and she said she was diagnosed within 5 days.
Oh my gosh.
In Vermont. Yes. And so I was that was very unusual. Exactly. But without going way to the left, it's not unusual for people that can pay for it, because her uncle paid for them to go to this place, and they went, and she was diagnosed with dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, and ADHD in 5 days. But it is very common for many of us to have to go through
I went to see so many
long time.
Sleep studies had, it was like so many stuff that had to go on within that whole year before
we got to right. And did you see a neurologist?
And said, okay, your child has autism. Now you got to go figure it out. Like, okay.
And then Sally, how old is Jada today?
She is 17. She'll be 18
17.
next month.
So 17, Mason's 5, and that's still how they diagnose.
Oh,
Because
wow.
we still got that packet of paper, and it's like,
Really?
here you go. The most they told us was to sign up for speech therapy.
Yeah. It was like, just sign up for all the services that are offered to you.
Right.
They didn't tell you what services, but you just got to figure it out.
No. And we have no idea about the road ahead.
Yeah.
So when you received the diagnosis, how did you feel?
Oh my gosh, it was an emotional roller coaster for a little while because you go through this whole process, and I tell this to everybody, like it's really emotional because you're grieving of this future that you think that you have planned for your child. You're angry, then you're worried about your child's future, and then you're questioning, did you do something to cause it? Was it something in the pregnancy? Was it something in the labor? Like you just go through all these different emotions. And then finally I just came to the realization that, okay, she's autistic. Her diagnosis is not hurting her. She's not in any type of pain. So why am I, fearful for her life? Like I always look at like there's so many other people who are getting a terminal illness diagnosis.
Right.
And here it is, I'm depressed because my child is autistic. So I just finally was like, you know what? She's autistic. We're gonna live our life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and how did autism show up for Jada? What did she have meltdowns? Did she have sleepless nights?
yes. Okay. So a lot of people ask, was Jada ever nonverbal? She was never nonverbal. She was actually the total opposite. She talked nonstop. And she actually had to have speech therapy to learn how to have a conversation because she didn't understand the concept of a conversation. She was just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, you got to breathe. You got to let the person answer and talk. So that's what she had to have speech therapy for. Meltdowns, yes. And it's hard when you have a child with autism going through those because you don't know what is actually autism and then what is actually just your child. So you don't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. That's tricky.
Yeah. Then
did you discipline?
Did I?
Yeah.
No, because it was it's really nothing you can really do. And then with Jada, she wasn't into electronics or anything like so. It wasn't anything you could take away. Like, how mean of a parent would I be to take away color book and crayons? It's really one thing that she would have.
Someone recently asked me, do you discipline Mason? I don't know how to discipline my son. I'm like, no, I don't even understand what he understands yet. So how am I going to discipline him? And I don't feel bad about that. It just, until I understand more, I can't do anything right now. I'll say no. If it's dangerous, I'm going to raise my voice, but yeah. And you got to be okay with that.
And then, you have like other people who are seeing her having a meltdown and they don't know and they're thinking like, oh my gosh, you're a bad parent because you don't discipline your child. I'm like, it's too loud in here. That's why she's
that's right. Yeah. Did you have to deal with that a lot with family or friends?
I still have to deal with it with family and friends because they still don't understand the diagnosis of autism. Wow. So it's still
even when they're 17.
Like, okay, this is why. This is why we don't do spontaneous. This is why we don't do this and that. Or if Jada is feeling overwhelmed, this is why we have to leave early. Or
Wow, I would think at 17 that they know. Okay, yeah. So, wow. Someone asked me yesterday too. Who do you trust with Mason? I said one person, my sister. Not that I don't love my mom or my dad or my other sister. Well, my other sister has 6 kids, so that's why I wouldn't throw her in it because she has enough to worry about. But but my sister I'm speaking of has 1 child. She's a teacher. I talk to her so much that she knows everything about Mason. So I trust her if I need to go away for a week, but that's it. Outside of my husband, but do you have people that you trust to watch Jada?
I don't. Outside of her going to go visit her, well, she doesn't go visit her dad anymore. But outside of her going to go visit him for the summer, Jada has really never spent the night anywhere without me. But I do have, just like you, I have two sisters, and they're twins. But I have one sister who I've always said if something was to happen to me, that I knew that she would be in good hands with her. And so
Right.
Jada goes to her for any and everything. She knows my child backwards and forwards. So I definitely would trust her.
Yeah. We
And
need one
actually,
person.
yeah, Jada is, she's getting ready to go to college next year. So one of the colleges that she's looking into is actually 20 minutes from my sister. So
Wow. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about grade school and middle school. How was that for Jada? What did that look like with making friends and kind of helping her understand that social dynamic?
okay, so first of all, I never told Jada she was autistic. We never really
Okay.
had that conversation. So she was
Okay.
just always Jada. Her
Mm-hmm.
brother, who's 16 months younger than her, actually
Mm.
came home one day and he was like, Mom, I think Jada's autistic. And I'm like, what do you mean? So he's like, well, my teacher read a book today and
Wow.
Jada does everything that this character in this book does. And so he was the one who ended up telling Jada that, she
Oh
was
my
autistic.
goodness.
So in that regard, so she was up in a regular class, and I say regular because that's what we call it. She was in a regular
Right.
class up until the fourth grade. And then in the fourth grade, we moved her into a self-contained class, only because Jada reading and math level was so far behind, and I just couldn't see myself trying to force her in a regular classroom because, I mean, with reading is everywhere.
Right.
She can't do social studies if she's on a second grade level.
Right.
It's for everything. So we end up putting her in a self-contained classroom. That's where she's been since the fourth grade. And we haven't really had to deal with any bullies. Jada says she remembers being bullied maybe like in elementary school, but so far she hasn't. And then middle school, she was very social, very active. And this graduating class that she's with here, they take care of Jada. They make sure Jada is included in any and everything. Like, I really don't have to worry.
Now, you said she was in self-contained classroom, and did that continue elementary, middle, and high school?
Yes, she's still in a self-contained classroom now. So.
Okay. Now, for people listening, self-contained, Mason's in a self-contained classroom, and his program is only for autistic children. So what does her self-contained classroom look like?
It's a mixture of every type of disability. And I say it's funny because it's just so heartwarming to me. But, I will ask Jada, because she comes home and talks about these different friends, and she was like, well, such and such is doing this, and such and such. I said, well, Jada, is such and such autistic? No. I was like, well, what's their disability? Nothing. We're just in a class. So, like, they don't even talk amongst themselves what their disabilities are. But,
Right.
but it's a mixture. Knows how to sign language because someone in her class is deaf, so she can sign language. So,
I love that you shared.
Stories is so funny.
Yeah, because she came home talking about the little boy that called her Elsa.
He is really, really trying. Still working her nerves every day.
She's like, do I look like Elsa?
I didn't see it, then I pulled it up. I'm like, what you do?
That is so funny. She has so much personality, which I love. I love following different children with autism because they all are so different, And then as a parent, when you do that, I start unfollowing all the regular people I followed years before. Now I'm following my people.
What's so funny is Jada went viral off that Elsa video. That Instagram page was my page.
Wow.
And so when she went viral, Jada's like, Mom, you got to take all your stuff down. I had to change my Instagram handle name.
Oh my goodness.
She made me take down all my pictures. I had to unfollow certain people. It's like she just really took over my page.
She did.
And so now, like you, I'm getting all these new followers, and I'm following back because, the autism spectrum is so broad, and people like to think that they're all one of the same, and they're really not. So different, so unique in their own ways.
Yeah. And I love that you talked about the self-contained classroom because some parents are afraid of that. When Were you ever afraid of, what it would look like, or an image concerning her?
Probably in the very first beginning, I did, but then I thought about it like she really needs that one-on-one help more than anything. So I became more comfortable with it, and then the teachers that she's had, they just really have loved on her and really tried to encourage and push her. So I let the label, like I said, we don't even use the label in the house, so
Right.
I just don't care about the label.
Wow. And so I'm curious to know, when her brother came home and said that he thought Jada had autism, what did you say, and how that conversation go?
I asked him, like, what makes you think that? And so he, like I said, he came home. He was talking about this character in this book. This character only played by themselves. This character talked to themselves, and it was like this character was doing so many things like Jada. So finally, I said, you know what, Chip, you're right. Jada is autistic, but she's still, our Jada. There's nothing different, no change. But yeah, she is. And so he, like I said, he explained to her. And I guess it was better for him to tell her than for me, because I don't even know how that conversation would have went if I was the one that he explained to her, in a way that she could understand, because they were so close. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that they were close. Mason, he plays by himself a lot. He could really care less about his brothers, and they are older. I have all teenagers. My youngest before him is 15, so they're in their own world, and he is very much in his. Right. But how do you encourage that relationship to be so close?
Right now, this whole relationship between them is a little difficult. It's a little hard now, because they're both so independent and they're teenagers. And he, by me being a single parent, he's become so overprotective of both me and Jada. So right now, we recently just had a conversation because he felt like I was setting Jada up for failure by telling her she can go to college.
Right. Wow.
Like, she can. He was like, no, she cannot. She can't even read. She can't, add, subtract. So how in the world are you telling her she can go to college? So I had explained to him that no, there are some colleges out there with special needs programs that, teach independence and financial literacy and all that type of stuff. So I was like, those are the type of programs that she would go to. But as far as that relationship, they're the typical brother and sister that could, in their own little world, and they just, when he comes out of his room, whenever he does, it's only to come to annoy me and Jada. That's what me and Jada.
The beauty of boys, right? I'm glad that you talked about colleges, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that there were colleges with programs like that. So definitely makes me look forward to whatever.
If I wouldn't have had Jada to like really say, Mom, I want to go to college, I would have never ever started researching. And there are some schools out there. And then now you have people saying, well, she's not even going to get a real diploma, so why would you pay all this money for her to go to college? I'm like, because she's my child and that's what she wants to do. I'm not asking you for any money to pay for it. So
yeah, that's right. And how dare they ask you that?
Right. Like, people just come up with some of the craziest things.
Will she graduate at 18 or will she graduate at 21?
No, she's going to graduate at 18 because, they can't go back until they're 21. But Jada has always been adamant that she doesn't want to come back as a post-grad. So when she graduates this year with her senior class, she's moving on.
Oh, my goodness. And how are you going to be, Mama, when you when you let her go?
I don't know.
Go work in the kitchen.
I was like, I don't know, maybe I should re-enroll back in college. I don't know, take up basket weaving or something.
Right.
I don't know. And there's a college here, that's 20 minutes from the house, but she has no intention of going to school whatsoever.
Wow.
The college that she has her eyes set on is 3.5 hours away.
I love it. I love it. She's been on the news numerous times.
Yes. She's been on the news. She's been on People Magazine's digital website. She's been in Girls Life digital magazine. But what she really wants is to be a model. So we're going to try.
Does she? Yeah, that's gonna happen.
We're going to try.
Mm-hmm. She's absolutely beautiful, and she brings so much joy. You never know what people are going through in their day-to-day life. So just to see her come across the screen and dance and smile, and she really can dance.
She really can. She really
She
can.
really has rhythm.
People that, that DM me were like, I'm going through such and such, but seeing
Mm-hmm.
Jada brightens my day. I've been depressed, or I had a death in the family, but Jada really. And so that's why I continue to do it, because at first, when she first went viral, I had so many negative comments. I had so many negative DMs that I really thought about taking the page down, because I'm like, well, this is not what I'm doing it for.
Right.
And everybody thinks, some people thought I was exploiting her, but I'm like, no, this is really Jada. This is what she wanted to do. And like, I don't post anything, I don't share anything without getting her permission first.
Right. And I think I really hope that one day the gap can be, there could be a bridge in the gap between the parents and autistic adults that come for us on social media.
Yes. They were ready. Like,
yes.
And it was so much stuff like that. I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that the puzzle piece was offensive to some people.
Me either. Right.
And, I had that conversation with Jada, and Jada was like, Mom, that's what, I symbolize with autism.
That's right.
And to let Jada tell her, she's like, Mom, and this is really her, she's like, Mom, it's no different than a pink ribbon for breast cancer. And I said, well, you know what, Jada?
Jada's world.
I follow you. You are the leader. I follow you. So
absolutely. Yeah. Recently, I saw the video of her entering the homecoming queen contest.
Yes.
You call it the court.
Yes, she made the homecoming court. She was so excited, so excited.
And she got second runner up.
And the crazy, when I say like you mourn that future for your child when you first get that diagnosis. And that was one of the things that I mourned, because I was so active in high school. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my child would never be, in the homecoming court, and would never be in pageants. And Jada has to surpass me and everything. And so I was in homecoming court 25 years ago. My dad escorted me. 25 years later, he's escorting Jada, and we get the same title. And
that is unbelievable.
She did everything on her own. She picked out her own dresses. She did her own videos. Like, I just had to be ready with my credit card to pay for things.
Wow. The exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing, because you just said before that she surpassed, what you even done so far. And for her to get that exact same thing was like God saying, chill, Mom. I got this.
Mom brought it up, and she was like, Nikki, do you understand? She was like, I understand people thinking that, she should have been homecoming queen. But by the way, the homecoming queen is her best friend. So Jada was ecstatic. But my mom was like, but you got to really think about it. Your child is in a self-contained classroom. So that means she's not interacting with these kids.
Yeah.
And they voted for her because of who she is. And it's really, and I had to really sit and think about that. Like, you know what, Mom, you're right.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And she is just amazing. I saw another video of her that I loved when she went to a birthday party. And you said it was one of her first, right?
Right. And like Jada, one of her things is like, she can remember. Her memory is just phenomenal. Like, she can remember stuff when she was like 4 or 5 years old, and then she gets mad when you don't remember. But she had got the invite, and she was making a whole big deal about it. We had to go get a new outfit, and she kept saying, "Well, what kind of present would you give a best friend?" I'm like, Jada, just pick up a gift card. She's like, no, it has to be special. And then as we're going to the birthday party, and she can tell she's nervous. I said, Jada, why are you so nervous? She's like, Mom, this is my first birthday party since elementary school. And I'm like, no, it's not, Jada. And then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, we've been to other birthday parties, like a family members or my coworkers' kids or something like that, but never one of her friends. And so it was very, very, very touching for her. And, it was a big moment.
That is absolutely beautiful. I'm sure she was well received.
Yes, yes. And
Mhm.
the girl who birthday party was, she was actually on the homecoming court. Let me say about the homecoming court real quick. It was
Okay.
six
Yeah.
girls. And out of those six girls, we'll take Jada out. So now it's five girls. Out of those
Mhm.
five girls, four of those girls have looked after Jada since
Wow.
ninth grade. And when I say that, I mean like if Jada stayed at the school for an activity and I would have to
Mhm.
drive to go pick her up, a teacher wouldn't be waiting with Jada. It will be one of those four girls sitting there waiting.
Wow.
So for them to all be on the court together, she was just,
Mhm.
so excited. But yeah, so she was happy for her friend.
That is so amazing. Do they have a program like Best Buddies?
Yeah, I actually heard you were talking about that. It's actually called Project Outreach
Okay.
here. So what they buddy, like they'll come and sit with them um during lunch sometimes, where they'll throw them a
Yeah.
little Christmas party, a dance party. And I believe that's where she met these girls from Project
Oh
Outreach.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
just
that's what it sounds like.
yeah,
Yeah.
they go above and
Wow.
beyond.
That's so beautiful. I still keep up with some of my buddies today.
Really?
And a couple of them on Facebook, and I see one got married, and he's married but children. He's married to a typical woman, and you just never know what their
Yeah.
future will
See,
be.
I don't know if you saw the video recently, but I was trying to figure out about her 18th birthday.
Hmm.
I had put out an IG story, one of those little question things like, hey, what do y'all guys think I should get Jada for her 18th birthday? Because I really don't know. My kids are very spoiled. Like,
Right.
Jada's been on a cruise for her birthday. We've done like, she's very, very spoiled. So I'm like, I don't
Hmm.
know at this point what to get her. And everybody's giving all these suggestions. And this girl just wants to go on a date. That
Oh
is what
my
she wants for her 18th
goodness.
birthday, to go on a date. And her thing has always been she doesn't want to, date special needs.
Right.
That she feels like that's limiting her. She's like, no, mom, I want to date a regular, and I say regular. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that's what she says.
Right.
I want to
Right.
date a regular guy. So I think a regular guy has his eyes on my baby. I think it's coming.
I'm so tickled because she's so cute. I mean, like, what do you expect?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
But
it's
I love that. I love that she wants to go on a date. I love that she wants to go to college. I love it because so many parents, we get that diagnosis and we are scared.
yeah.
We don't know, and I interview parents who have children all over the spectrum. So we
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the future is going to be, and it's okay either way, right? You're going to love on your baby and make sure that their life is everything that they desire it to be. So it's just refreshing to hear from you today about Jada Boo. We all calling her Jada now. I saw someone say, "Is her name actually Jada Boo?" And you said, "No, it's Jada. We call her Jada Boo."
It's not relatable. My grandfather which is her great grandfather. He's the only one that calls her Jada baby.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we all call her Jada boo.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing her with the world. I know it takes a lot. I know some days you may feel like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to put my daughter out here?
Right.
But I speak for all the moms watching just to say thank you. You just, you don't know how much hope and joy that you've given us. And before we close here today, do you have any advice or last words from Denisha to all the moms and dads that are listening?
Okay. So the best advice that I can give anyone is to, first of all, if you feel like your child is autistic, go to your pediatrician. Don't let them brush off your concerns. You have to be your child's advocate. And if you get an autism diagnosis, it's not the end of the world. I promise you it's not. Your child is not in any type of pain. Your child is going to live their life to the best that they can. So I say, and it's, well, if you get a diagnosis, you're going to have, like I said, an emotional roller coaster. But go through those feelings, go through all those emotions. But then at the end of the day, you pick yourself up and keep moving, keep going. And then
That's
you
it.
also have to, self-care is a big thing for me. I had to learn
Yeah.
self-care.
Mhm.
If it's just 30 minutes out of the day, get those 30 minutes to yourself. because you can't pour into your child if you're empty. Those meltdowns or things that they're going through is going to be 10 times worse if you yourself haven't done your own self-care. But don't hide in the bathroom because they will find you.
That's the truth.
They will find
That's
you.
the truth. That is the truth. Well, thank you again so much. People listen from all over the world. So where can they find you on social media?
All right. So we're on Instagram. It's the only social media that we have is Autism Beauty 22. We have a nonprofit, which is Autism Beauty, and that web address is www.autismbeauty.org. And then we also have an email address that you guys can also reach out to us. It is teamjadaboo at gmail.com. And I think that's about all it.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much for listening. You guys go ahead and follow her, connect with her, and you'll get to see her in Jada Boo. Well, Jada Boo shows up a little more than her, but we get to see Mom today. Always remember. Yes. Always remember, guys, that you always have the option to choose joy. Until next time. Bye-bye.